Greetings, my name is Kerry and welcome back to my channel. Today I have a bonus book haul for you. I usually only film these quarterly, but I filmed the last one just before I moved and this one is just after I moved. This is to include a few things I've bought for uni, and also I was given quite a few books for my birthday and I've bought some with some of the money I had both from my gift. I was given a book token when I left my job in August and also was given a little bit of money for my birthday, so I have bought some books. I'm going to start with some stuff that I've bought and then I'm going to go on to some stuff that I've been given, and then I'm going to end up with the stuff that I bought for uni, so if you have lost interest by that point it won't be a great deal too tragic. Right, so first of all I'm just going to quickly talk about my two book club books that I've bought since I last filmed a haul. So these are the Space Sirens book club books for September and October. Our September pick was Jade City by Fonda Lee. I'm about halfway through this at time of filming. And then our pick for October is Incendiary by Zoraida Cordova. So I'm really excited to pick this up. Really looking forward to reading this soon. Don't have a lot more to say about them really. I'm not going to talk loads about any of this stuff today actually. Next I'm actually going to finish opening the Ninja Book Box September box. Usually I have received the full box for this and done an unboxing video. Because I'm now a student again, I just thought it was probably sensible money-wise to not get the full box, so I just get the mini box now. This is the first one I've had since moving, since going back to uni. I did open it just to see what it was, and then when I realised that it was a Ninja Book Box, I stopped opening. So we've got the spoiler card, which I'll open for you in a minute so I can tell you about the people involved in making the stuff. And we've got the bookmark, which is fairly standard to get in Ninja Book Boxes. I really do like the quote on this, so it's a Jane Austen quote. For my own part, if a book is well written, I always find it too short, so I really love the bookmarks that they produce. We then have the little information leaflet. So the theme of this box is... I can't remember what the theme of the box is and I can't see it written in there. Anyway, so this is it's the 4th anniversary though of Ninja Book Box, which is quite exciting. Then there's a pencil which says rewrite the story on it. So usually in the mini box you just get the book and 1 or 2 little gifts. In this case it's that pencil, which is quite cool. I use a lot of them. So here's the book. I'm going to open now. So this is a book called My Husband Simon by Molly Panter Downs. I've not heard of this book before actually, and it's a British Library one, which is quite fun. It's in the Women Writers series. So this series is about authors that enjoyed a lot of popular appeal but maybe have been slightly forgotten. This is about Nevis Falconer, a young sophisticated novelist, meets and marries Simon Quinn. She comes to realise that her passionate marriage is stifling her creative talent and finds herself increasingly distracted and disillusioned with her writing. Then one day she meets Marcus Chard, her American publisher, and everything changes. So this was first published in the 1930s, I think? Yeah, 1931. So that sounds like it could be really interesting. Okay, I'm just going to open the spoiler card and see if it sheds any light on the situation. Okay, so the theme was a battle of wills. So the pencil came from an Etsy shop called The Forgotten Library, which is pretty cool. Some of the recommended reading includes Agatha Christie's Poirot. It talks a little bit more about the Women's Writer series from the British Library in the spoiler card and says a bit more about what they're about. Right, so I'm excited to add that to my TBR. Carrying on with some of the books that I've bought recently. So this was a pre-order that came just after I filmed my last haul. So this is Raybearer by Jordan Ifuko. It is a fantasy novel based, I think, on Nigerian mythology, but I'm not entirely sure. But I really love this cover. I've heard really good things about it, so really looking forward to picking this up. And then I also bought for the Voltathon readathon, but didn't actually manage to read it and didn't join in this time, Saving Lucas Biggs by Marissa de los Santos and David Teague. This is a science fiction, I think it's either middle grade or YA, I think actually middle grade. It says ages 8 to 12 on the back, so yeah, middle grade. It's about time travel, a young woman who tries to go back in time to stop her father being wrongfully convicted of a crime. A couple of days after my birthday, was just out doing a little bit of shopping with my parents who were up to visit me for a week. Found in HMV, my local HMV, they had an offer of 2 books for £6, which was really exciting. So I managed to get a couple of books that I really wanted to pick up for a while. First of all was Daring Greatly by Brené Brown. I read The Gifts of Imperfection earlier this year, and this has been on my wishlist ever since. So to get it for the equivalent of £3 was really exciting. So really looking forward to reading that. And then they also had the Earthsea Quartet by Ursula Le Guin, and the first 4 books in that series, which again I've only ever seen for over £10. So to find it for £3 in HMV was really exciting. So I got both of those books for £6 in HMV. I didn't know HMV sold books. If that's news to you as well, go and check out and see if your local HMV has 2 books for £6, because it's definitely a deal worth picking up if you can. And then I had a gift voucher from work. When I left my job, they gave me a £20 book voucher, so I went to Waterstones and I bought 2 books that I've really wanted to read for a while. So I got The Empire of Gold by S.A. Chakraborty. This is the 3rd book in the David Bad trilogy, so I'm really excited to read this. I'm going to be trying to read this month. And then also got The City in the Middle of the Night by Charlie Jane Anders. I really love this cover, and look at the lovely sprayed edges, so pretty. So this is another book I've heard really good things about. Okay, I ran out of storage on my phone, so I've just had to delete a load of stuff, and hopefully I have not got the angle too much different. So I was talking about this book, I think I finished talking about this book, but I can't remember. Anyway, I've been wanting to read it for a really long time, and now I own a really pretty copy. So those were the 2 books I bought with my gift voucher that they gave me when I left work. I got them in Waterstones, so that was really good. Let's do the rest of the books I bought for myself, and then we'll finish up with the really happy things of books people have given me. So I also bought myself this cookbook. I got this secondhand. This is called Well Fed. It's paleo recipes. This was put together by Melissa Jewell, who is one of the co-hosts of my favourite podcast, which is called Strong Sense of Place. And this was one thing that they did to help enable themselves to go self-employed so that they can move to Prague, her and her husband. So I was really keen to get this cookbook and try out some of the recipes. I had to buy it secondhand. It is out of print, I think, so it was really expensive to buy a new copy. Haven't tried any of the recipes yet because I don't have to cook for myself a lot at the moment, but I'm really looking forward to giving some of them a try. And then I've got a little stack of books I bought for uni. These aren't actually all of the books I bought for uni because some are in my study, and those are the even less interesting ones. So there's a few books on Hebrew grammar and a few books on missiology. These are the more interesting ones, which are mainly ones that I picked up for my dissertation, and actually mainly novels. But first, there are 2 non-fiction ones. So we've got Streams of Living Water by Richard Foster. This was recommended for one of the modules, which is to do with spirituality and trying to develop spiritual stuff. I've read a couple of Richard Foster books in the past and thought this one sounded really good, so I picked that one up. And then all of these other books are ones just about to do with my MA dissertation that I'm going to be writing, which is about the character of Bathsheba, who is an Old Testament character. She is well known for having an affair with King David, who then goes on to kill her husband so he can marry her. I'm going to be writing my dissertation about the representation of her character because she's often presented as, at worst, a seductress and at best a willing participant in the adultery, whereas I read that story very, very differently. So I thought it'd be interesting to see how other people interpret that story. So I've bought a number of novels, retellings of that story. I've got 4 here. We've got Bathsheba by Jill Eileen Smith, David and Bathsheba by Roberta Kelsdor, Bathsheba by Torgny Lindgren, and Bathsheba, Reluctant Beauty by Angela Hunt. I'm hoping that these will all take slightly different perspectives on the story. I think this last one by Angela Hunt takes a slightly more closer view to my view that Bathsheba wasn't really a willing participant in any of this. I think some of these others might take some of those other views that I mentioned. I'm hoping so because that will make it more interesting to write about. I don't know if I'll write about all of these. There's also a novella by Francine Rivers, which I definitely will be writing about because that's the best known of all of these books. But I'm really interested to get going on reading some of these and seeing how that story is represented. I also bought another book by Jill Eileen Smith, which is Abigail, who was another wife of King David. So she's written 3 books about some of the wives of King David. I already had Michael, which is the first one in the series. This is the second. Bathsheba is the third. I'm actually going to read the series out of order, which is rare for me, but because I'm familiar with the stories anyway, because they're in the Bible, it doesn't bother me too much. And then I also bought a small commentary called Bible Characters and Doctrines, Bathsheba to Rehoboam, who was her grandson, by E.M. Blakelock. I've just had a flick through and this does present Bathsheba as a seductress. I need to get some more commentaries, but there's loads in the library, so that's gonna be my library trip on Monday to the college library to get out loads of different commentaries on the story and just start researching because I'm so excited. I've got loads of other stuff that I need to read as well for different lectures, but the thing that I'm really excited about is getting to work on that dissertation. I've got a year to write it, so I need to get going really. Okay, so then on to the books that I was given. Most of these I was given for my birthday, and they're actually in a funny order. But the first two I wasn't. I received a couple of ARCs for a review by an independent author called Josie Jeffrey, so I don't think this had arrived when I filmed my last haul. Anyway, so this is The Wolf and the Water, which is a new series that she started called Deluge. This is about, I assume, about werewolves. It's about a young woman called Carla and her family struggling and what she is trying to do to resolve that situation. I think I haven't actually read any of it yet, so I'm looking forward to reading that. I also have another of her books to review as well, which I need to get on and read them and do that really. Then when I moved into my house, I'm living on site at college in the student accommodation, and there are 24 of us in the house, and they're all lovely, and it's been really good so far. I was really nervous about coming, having lived on my own for so long, but it's been really nice. And as a little gift to everyone that came, we were given this book, Life Together by Dietrich Bonhoeffer. Everyone in college is a big fan of Dietrich Bonhoeffer. There's actually a whole module on him, which is not what I'm taking. So I did have a copy of this book, got a set of a lot of his writings, which I haven't managed to read it yet, and actually my other copy's in storage, so I was really pleased to get this, and I'm going to start reading this one soon. I was given some books from my birthday by some of my booktube friends. So first of all, I was given The Map of Salt and Stars by Zain Jukadar, I'm sorry if I said that wrong, who is a trans author of colour, and this was sent to me by Stephanie from the channel Miss Richard Reads. So really looking forward to picking this up. It was published under a different name, which I'm not sure whether that's his dead name or a pseudonym that he publishes under. Everything I found about him online uses the name Zain Jukadar, which again, sorry if I said that wrong. So I'm not going to say what the name that this was published under is, but look for Map of Salt and Stars or Zain Jukadar and you should be able to find it. So I'm really excited to read this. I'm actually put this on my TBR for this month, so hopefully getting to this one soon. And then Kayla from Crack Into a Good Book got me Trail of Lightning by Rebecca Roanhorse, which is a book I've heard so many good things about, been really keen to try and get a copy of it and pick it up. So thank you so much to Kayla for sending me this, and thank you obviously to Stephanie as well for sending me the other one. Really looking forward to reading this. Rebecca Roanhorse is an Indigenous American author, and I think the book inspired by some Indigenous mythology as well, so really keen. I've heard so many good things about it, can't wait to read it. And then my parents got me a couple of books as well, one that I specifically asked for and one that I pretty much knew they were going to get me. So the one I knew they were going to get me was The Thursday Murder Club by Richard Osman. Richard Osman, if you're not from the UK or not aware, is a TV presenter. He's very funny, very intelligent man. He presents two shows that I love on TV. So Pointless, where he's the co-host, and Richard Osman's House of Games. They're both brilliant, fun quiz shows. Really love watching them. So when I heard that he had a novel coming out, I was really keen to read it. I think it's sort of in the vein of Agatha Christie type stuff. It's about a peaceful village, retirement village, and 4 friends who try and solve unsolved murders. It sounds like it could be really fun. It's had really rave reviews as well, so really looking forward to reading that. And then the last book that I've inherited, that's not the right word, received recently, was another one my parents got me for my birthday, and this one I specifically asked for. So if you saw some of my unhauls earlier in the year, I did have a copy of this book, but it was in really awful condition. I bought it cheap in a charity shop because I wanted to know what all the fuss was about, and I ended up really loving it. And it's one of those books that, at the time I read it, I gave it 4 stars, but actually now looking back on it, I just have such a love for that book that when I reread it, I know I'm fairly confident that I will upgrade it to a 5-star. It just took me a little while to get used to the writing style, and that's why I had taken a star off. Anyway, enough rambling. This book is The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern, and so because I'd had such an ugly copy, I asked specifically for this edition, which is the Waterstone Special Edition. It's got lovely sprayed edges, it's hardcover, it's just really beautiful, and I really wanted a nice edition because this is a book that I'm sure is going to become a favourite, a long-term favourite, and I just really love this cover. Is so beautiful. So thank you so much to my parents for getting me this. I really love it. I'm just going to talk about one more thing actually, which is not a book but is bookish. 2 more things. My brother and his girlfriend also came to visit for my birthday, and they got me a couple of bookish gifts. So first of all, they got me a little bookmark which says "Shh, Kerry's reading," which I really love. I think it's really cute, so I'm looking forward to using that. And then they also got me, and this is really exciting, I'm hopefully getting a notice board put up just up there so I can put this up and then it'll be in the background of my videos. They got me a 100 books bucket list poster. It's got 100 books with scratch panels, and then when you've read the book you scratch off the panel and it reveals a picture that represents the book. I'll just show you a little bit. You can see there's some of the books on it. So we've got Watership Down, Chronicles of Narnia, Bridget Jones' Diary, all sorts of different things. And actually, just flicking through it, I think I've read some of them, quite a lot of them probably already. So as I say, hopefully we'll be getting a notice board soon put up, and then I can pin this up and scratch off all the pictures, and we can go through some of the ones that I've read, and then it might be a goal for next year to start working through some more of the books on this list. So thank you so much to Anthony and Aisha for getting me these lovely gifts too. They did get both, they all got me other things as well, but those are only the bookish ones. So I've rambled on for long enough, running out of storage on my phone, so I better stop soon. So let me know if you've read any of these books and what you thought of them. Let me know what you think of my dissertation topic, if you have any knowledge or interest of that subject. I would love to know. Yeah, so have a chat to me down in the comments. What are some books that you've got recently? What are some upcoming releases that you're excited about maybe? Please also like this video if you liked it, and please subscribe if you haven't already. And you can also follow me on my social media. I'm on Twitter, Instagram and on Goodreads. All the links will be in the description box below. But that's it for today, so thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you again soon. Bye!